When the Galactic Unity Council summoned me to the Hall of Diplomacy, I thought it was about the mining incident on Vexa 9. I had no idea I was about to be offered, no, ordered, into marriage. My name is Lieutenant Orion Hale, age 27, a xenolinguist and envoy in training for Earth's Interplanetary Relations Bureau. I'd spent the past 4 years learning alien languages and cultural protocols, but nothing in my studies prepared me for this. The Council has selected you, Admiral Reddick said, his voice grave, for a special alliance mission with the Illyrians. The Illyrians, an elegant telepathic species from the star system Arath. Humanoid but older, much older. Their lifespans stretched into centuries. Their culture revolved around psychic bonding, ritualized partnership, and something they called mind-weaving, a merging of memories and emotions between two souls. I swallowed. What kind of mission? He handed me a data pad. It read, Diplomatic Union, Human Illyrian Cohesion Initiative. And beneath it, Subject, Lieutenant Orion Hale is to enter conjugal alliance with Lady Seraphine Vera of Illyria. You can't be serious, I said. Oh, I'm very serious, Reddick replied. This treaty could end 50 years of tension over the resource lanes in the Beta Quadrant. They demanded a symbolic union. And they asked for you specifically. Me. Why me? He hesitated. Because Lady Seraphine lost her bonded mate decades ago. She's a high-ranking matriarch. She trusts only someone whose mind is unscarred by power. Their words. That describes you. So that's how I ended up being shipped across 17 light-years to marry a woman I'd never met. A woman older than my mother, possibly my grandmother, depending on how Illyrians counted age. To the bride from the stars. Illyria's capital city shimmered like a sea of crystal domes and bioluminescent spires. The air carried a faint electric hum, the psychic residue of billions of minds. They escorted me to the Hall of Reflection, an immense chamber of mirrored water and glowing glyphs. And there she stood, Lady Seraphine Vera. Her skin was the pale silver of moonlight. Her hair a cascade of luminous strands that seemed to move with her emotions. Her eyes, deep violet, held an intensity that made me feel both exposed and comforted. She was tall, statuesque, her presence commanding yet serene. When she spoke, her voice echoed not just in my ears but inside my head. You are the one they sent. I nodded awkwardly. Yes, ma'am. I mean Lady Seraphine. She smiled faintly. Do not be afraid, Orion Hale. You are far from home, but you are safe here. The wedding was more ritual than romance. We stood in a circle of glowing stones while Illyrian priests chanted in tones that resonated through the bones. A telepathic link was established between us. Temporary, they said, unless we chose to deepen it. When the ceremony ended, she turned to me and said softly, Now we are bound by the currents of fate and diplomacy. Come, I will show you your new home. Her residence was a palace grown from living crystal. The walls shimmered like liquid glass, and the air was filled with faint harmonies, the hum of Illyrian architecture. I expected coldness, distance. Instead, she treated me with surprising gentleness. She asked about Earth, my childhood, my music preferences. She introduced me to Illyrian food, luminescent fruits that tasted like honeyed air, and gifted me robes woven with living light. But what shocked me most wasn't her beauty or her kindness. It was her loneliness. 3. The secrets of the matriarch. Over the following weeks, I learned more about Seraphine. She was 152 years old, still considered middle-aged among Illyrians. Her late mate, Lord Kale, had been a diplomat who died in an explosion during a peace mission with the Dravari, an insectoid race notorious for sabotage. Since his death, Seraphine had withdrawn from politics. This union is not just symbolic, she told me one evening as we sat beneath Illyria's twin moons. The psychic link between us could anchor trust between our species. But it can also heal what was broken. Heal what? Yes. She looked away. My mind has been fractured since Kale's death. The mind weave we shared was violently severed. It left scars. That night, she invited me to attempt a mild telepathic merge. Just a surface-level connection. I agreed, though I was terrified. Her hand brushed mine and suddenly I felt her. Memories like waves of starlight flooding into me. A younger Seraphine standing in a crystalline courtyard. Laughter with Kale. The moment of the explosion. Screaming, burning light, and then silence. I gasped and pulled away, trembling. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't mean for you to see that much." "It's okay," I said, still shaking. "I just felt your pain." She smiled sadly. "Then you understand me better than most." After that night, something changed between us. The awkwardness faded. We shared meals, stories, even laughter. She taught me how to speak Illyrian fluently. Not just with words but through empathy, emotion, and thought. And I began to realize something strange. Despite our age difference, despite everything, I was falling for her. For the threat from the void. 2 months into our union, the Dravari attacked. They targeted the Illyrian energy satellites orbiting their twin suns. The explosions caused massive power fluctuations across the planet. Communications were disrupted. The Council feared full-scale war. Seraphine was summoned to an emergency meeting. I insisted on accompanying her. Inside the chamber, holographic projections flickered with tactical readouts. Illyrian generals argued telepathically, their words blending into a chorus of tension. "The Dravari demand control of the beta lanes," one said. "If we refuse, they will unleash the void." Storms. Seraphine stood tall. "Then they invite annihilation upon themselves." Her words carried such power that even the council fell silent. She turned to me and spoke in my mind. "Orion, you must contact Earth's fleet. Tell them to prepare for defense but not aggression." I nodded and began encoding a transmission through the diplomatic relay. But before I could send it, a psychic shockwave rippled through the chamber. An attack. The Dravari had infiltrated the Illyrian mind net, the planetary telepathic network. Chaos erupted. Illyrians clutched their heads, screaming in psychic agony. Seraphine collapsed beside me. I caught her, feeling the heat radiate from her skin. Her eyes glowed dangerously. "They're trying to overload the Nexus," she gasped. "If they succeed, millions will die." "What can I do?" shouted. She met my gaze. "You can link with me. Your human mind is less connected to the network. It can resist the surge. Together we might stabilize it." I hesitated only a moment before pressing my forehead to hers. 5. The mind weave. The moment our minds connected fully, I was pulled into a storm of light and memory. We floated in a vast psychic ocean, currents of thought, emotion, and memory swirling like galaxies. I could feel her essence entwined with mine. Her wisdom, her sorrow, her love. And she felt me, my curiosity, my fear, my hope. "We must find the Nexus," she said within the storm. I followed her through visions of Illyria's history. Ancient wars, star births, peace treaties written in light. Finally, we reached a glowing sphere pulsating violently. The mind nexus. It was fracturing, threads snapping one by one under the Dravari assault. Seraphine reached out, her energy dimming. "I can stabilize it, but it will drain me. You must channel your strength through the bond." "No," I said. "We'll do it together." I extended my consciousness, pouring everything I had. my memories, my love for her, my very soul, into the weave. For a moment, I saw her as she truly was. Timeless, radiant, burdened by centuries yet still capable of boundless grace. And then, with a final surge of will, we mended the nexus. The psychic storm subsided. When I opened my eyes, I was lying on the crystal floor of the chamber. Seraphine's head rested against my shoulder. She was smiling faintly. "You did it. We did it," I whispered. 6. The Queen and the Human. In the days that followed, the Dravari retreated. The Illyrian mind net stabilized. The Council declared a new age of cooperation between Illyria and Earth. Seraphine was offered reinstatement as High Matriarch, but she declined. "I have done my part," she said. "It is time for others to lead." Instead, she chose to retire to her palace by the Mirror Lakes, and insisted that I stay with her. First, I wasn't sure. The treaty was fulfilled. My duty was done. But something in me couldn't leave her, not after everything we'd shared. One evening, we walked along the crystalline shore. The twin moons reflected in the water, casting silver light across her face. "Do you regret it?" I asked. "That they forced you into this?" She turned to me, her eyes warm. "They didn't force me. I agreed because I sensed your heart. You reminded me of the hope I had lost." "And what about the age difference?" I said with a nervous laugh. She smiled, touching my cheek. "Among Illyrians, age is only the measure of how much starlight one has seen. You've seen enough to fill my skies, Orion." I took her hand. "Then maybe I'll stay a little longer." He chuckled. "You're already part of this world, my king." 7. Epilogue. 20 years later. It's been 20 years since that day. I'm no longer Lieutenant Orion Hale. I'm Ambassador Hale of Illyria, representative of two worlds. I live with Seraphine still, in the palace by the Mirror Lakes. She hasn't aged a day, but I've grown a few gray hairs. She calls them threads of wisdom. Our bond has deepened beyond words. Through the mind weave, we share dreams, thoughts, and sometimes memories of Earth's sunsets or Illyria's auroras. We've become a living symbol of unity, a legend told across both galaxies. Some still whisper that I was forced into marriage, that it was a political trick. But they don't understand. I wasn't forced to love her. That part was my choice. And though she is 25 years older, perhaps 100 in her years, she treats me not like a pawn in a treaty, but like a king in her starlit realm. When I look into her violet eyes, I see eternity. And eternity, it seems, has chosen to love me back.